What is the danger in overthinking an opponent? What can happen?
Well, when you're fighting, you can just build them into something they're not, because that's the way the mind works. So the important part is just staying true to yourself, having trust in your instincts on this week, whether it comes to speaking, whether it comes to fighting. It's all instinctual at this point. It has nothing to do with what I need to think anymore. I've already done that for the past 10 weeks. I've already done all that work. So what do I need to think now for?
The experience you've gone through with media obligations through the years and the trash talk, can you understand why Rousey wants no part of it this week?
Yeah, I mean, I understand it. This isn't easy what I'm doing here. It's not easy what any of us have to do as fighters. We're one of the only, I guess, sports in the world that's forced to do as much media as we do have to do and go out there and compete at the highest level in the world, or else you get your head kicked off your shoulders. And that's the missing link, is a lot of these other athletes are playing games. This is not a game. This is life or death. I'm going to war in 2 days, a day and a half. And so that can wear on people's minds. And then you add to the fact that you got all these cameras and everybody wants a piece of you and everybody's calling you and saying they want to be your friend and want to get your, cut your hair and want you to wear their stuff and want you to be on their Instagram posts, and it's like, it can wear on you. So each person has their own path. Ronda was a judo Olympian, and I doubt she had even an ounce of this work in front of her to become the judoka that she is. And I think that she's just getting back to her roots, and you can't blame somebody for that who's been the best in the world at anything.
Presumably, though, I would assume that it affects your paycheck more so than anybody else on the card if they're taking viewpoints. So is it frustrating in that regard?
It does not affect me at all.
No.
In that sense, because I think it's creating more mystique behind Ronda. I mean, she's been gone how long? She's huge already. She is the face of women's mixed martial arts. You can't word it any other way. People want to see how she comes back. And then it almost adds a different level of curiosity in the fact of, will she come back better without all this media in your face? You tell me, if these cameras were switched and pointing at you in the face, how much would you all cheese up? Guarantee you wouldn't say a word. Your face would turn red, you'd start sweating. Some of you guys would probably need some deodorant. You know what I mean? So the point is, it's hard. And maybe it'll make her better.
You feel you're in Cody's head, man?
I don't think about things that I can't control. I don't think about things that are out of my range of knowing. I don't know what that guy's thinking, and to be perfectly honest, I never know what he's thinking. His ignorance is his bliss, and that's plain and simple. I think that that's his biggest power, is he's telling himself all these positive things. He's got people in his ear telling him these positive things. You hit hard, you're athletic, you're too fast, you're this, you're that. And he listens to it. And he believes it because he's had some knockouts in his pro career so far against guys that have been in the top 20. So, that being said, his ignorance is his peace. That's his bliss. That's where he gets his strength.
It's a two-part question. Do you think he can win besides knocking you out? Is there any other way he can win? And with you being a professional in the sport, what do you think about the national interview that got carried away with all the cussing and vulgarities and the bleeping? I know that's not your style.
I mean, I don't need to cuss. What's the point of cussing when we're on a Fox stage and they tell you before you walk on a camera, don't cuss? The guy loses it because he's an emotional wreck. I mean, it's needless to say. He does it to himself. I didn't have to tell him anything. I wasn't bagging on the guy other than calling him Pee Wee Herman because, if you've ever seen Pee Wee Herman, he's got the gray with the red. It was pretty perfect. But the point I'm trying to make is that's all I could see when I was talking to him. And he talks a lot when he gets flustered, but it's not talk, it's just cuss words. Him knocking me out, every single person I've fought for 23 fights had the potential to knock me out. They did. I put myself in the smallest margin for error. I have almost no margin for error when I'm in there. That is my goal. That is the basis behind my style. Every fight style in the world is based on eight limbs. You got your hands, your feet, your knees, and your elbows. We have one extra thing that's not added into that striking, and that's the takedown. That is limb number 9. That is something that I've also added into my style to make it hard to finish takedowns, to accomplish takedowns, to time them. So that's another thing that makes my style look different than all these other people and all these other people in the UFC in the world, is I've added that to my mind process, and I've created wrestling as a branch of striking.
Are you worried or concerned about fireworks tomorrow with the weigh-ins? You think he's an emotional wreck? It's the first time you guys come face to face. What's your mindset going into that?
Well, I can't worry about the things I can't control. I'll say that again. And I don't worry because I probably count on him trying to act real loud, real tough, knowing he's going to have people holding him back. He's got this self-perceived image of himself of, one, to be an alpha, so he's got to perceive that. He's got to put that out there to everybody. You got to be real loud about it. And two, to also be a savage in his own head. I'm a savage. I'm gonna break your jaw. I'm crazy. I got loud tattoos. I act crazy. I look mean. I'm mad. I got dad issues. All this stuff. So he's got to portray that. He's got to put that show on for all you guys. I mean, that's what makes him look tough. For me, I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna be myself. He wants to act that way, he can, but we've got a date. The fight's happening. Whether I go after him or try to fight him on that stage or not, we're fighting. So what's the point of doing all that? To me, it's a waste of energy. Be calm right now. Let me give you some tips, Cody. Be calm right now. Calm yourself down, relax, because the fight's happening, buddy. So, save your energy.
People that are in Cody's ear, that are pumping him up, if he were not to be ignorant, what would they be telling him? What do you think they should be telling him?
None of those guys have a clue what to do with me, so there's nothing they can tell him. And he's going to figure that out after the first round when he's in there punching, he's in there missing, he's looking for that big punch that he's landed on everybody else, and he goes to land that punch, and I'm gone. I'm a ghost, I'm not there. And then he goes to do it again, and I'm gone, and I'm not there. And then he's getting hit, and he's getting hit. And when he goes and sits on that stool after the first round, and he looks at his corners, he's going to know his corners have nothing they can tell him. I've fought them for 27 plus rounds. I've maybe lost 5 rounds of those rounds against the corners that he's going to have there, against his teammates, the teammates that I've made a living off of, Team Alpha fail. So bring it. Let's go.
How much confidence does it give you, the fact that you beat them so many times?
It's just another guy. It's just another fighter, man. I've done this so many times. How many people grow up getting into fights? I grew up getting into fights all the time. And every time I got into a fight on the street, every time I got into a fight in Tucson, Arizona, my hometown where I grew up, they didn't like me. They said a lot of mean things about me before it happened. And I went out there and had to do what I had to do to them on the street. What's the difference of this really, other than now I've got all these media outlets covering it and making it a bigger deal than it is. Really, this is just a fight. And if it was on the street, I would have already done it. So it's already done in my eyes.
You talk about all the people in his corner. I mean, this is a long, drawn-out thing. Is it bizarre to you in a way that this is almost the way that this division is played out, where an entire team has consistently come after you and sent guy after guy?
Why join him when you can beat him? I had that mindset since the first day I laid eyes on Uriah Faber back in 2007. He looked at me, I'll never forget. He came, he shook my hand, and he didn't even know who I was, the guy that he was facing. Why? Because they didn't put me on the poster. That's what I was mad about. I needed my face on that poster to get this started. I knew I could be this, but nobody else did except for me and my coach, Eric Del Fiero. They didn't put me on the poster. He didn't know who I was. I shook his hand. He looks me up and down like this, and right then and there I said, oh, to go out of his way to look me up and down like that, like I was nothing, made me know he was already sleeping on me. I said right then and there, why join him when you can beat him? This guy's supposed to be the best in the world, and he was then. I knew I was going to beat him there. I knew I could be better than him after that fight. Fighting him made me a better person, and now all that team is still coming after me. I couldn't have played it out any better. I am the 135-pound division, and they all need to fight me to see where they're at. I am the gauge for the 135-pound division, and for really a pound-for-pound list in my eyes.
Without a loss in maybe the last 10 years, how do you stay hungry?
It's about self-evolution. I don't want to sound cliche, I don't want to sound cheesy, but it's the truth. Why are we doing this? At a certain point, when you accomplish all your goals, I'm an 8-time world champion, 4 times in the WEC. This will be my 5th title going for in the UFC. I've won the belt. I believe and know I'm the pound-for-pound best in the world. I've accomplished those goals. So now it's about each one of these fights is an evolving point in my life. It's been a life lesson 23 times. I have that edge on everybody here and everybody in the world because I've been given the gift to go into these fights and challenge myself, to challenge my fear, to challenge my anxieties, look it in the face and deal with it. That's a gift. That's a gift God's given me. It's a gift to be here in front of you guys. I lost that gift for 3 years, and it took me losing it to realize what a gift it is. That being said, here I am, and that is motivation, self-motivation. I'm motivated by competition. I'm motivated by myself. I'm motivated by evolving as a man to become a better person, and I'm motivated by the more I can do for myself, the better man I can become myself. I end up touching everybody else at the same time, so it also becomes selfless.
I'm curious.
The guy said,
Last question, guys.
yeah, the guy said Alliance have been saying that you were touching them, that you were helping them. how much did he help Henry Briones for his fight against Cody?
The guys at Alliance.
Yeah, Henry, the only guy that he didn't knock down.
Yeah, I've had some guys from TJ come up and spar with some real good pro boxers. I saw Henry fought him for 3 rounds because Henry's a tough dude. I've sparred Henry. I've worked with him. It doesn't really matter what he does against these other guys because I fight different. He's got to adjust to me, and he'll realize that in there. But of course he hits hard. Of course he's got his gifts. I give him the credit for those things. You won't hear him give me credit for anything, and that's always why they're going to lose to me.